What if there was a film that didn't try to pander a story?
You're trying to save my soul.
That was already told or familiar to the audience.
Everybody's leaving because they say that's not how movies are made, I don't care.
A film that wasn't afraid to stand on its own principles and breathtaking visuals.
This is the kind of movie I want to be a part of.
One that instead unfolds and is crafted before our very eyes. A film that had a slow burn in the cultural zeitgeist.
It was original. It was singular.
A movie that stuck in my mind for months after viewing.
And reminds us the meanings, the rules, and the ways to break said constraints of storytelling.
My whole idea was that I was going to do a visual film, and it is that. And the imagination is a lot more unlimiting.
One of the most visually stunning, emotionally provoking, and thought-inspiring films I have ever seen. It's a multifaceted journey with layers upon layers of potential meaning and epiphanies to dissect. Through some diligence, you will find the fruits and the love beneath its surface. Together, we will dive into the 2006 release, The Fall.
Wake up. Love.
To briefly touch on the cinematography and production of this film, the use of strong primary colors, all of which our main characters are seen wearing, so they uniquely stand out.
Or the fact that this film was shot across 24 countries over 4 years.
Allowing the camera crew to use real locations with stunning architecture or landscapes to create the awe-inspiring shots. All those breathtaking scenes, they're authentic and real. The cast is actually running around in them. They're real, raw, authentic, with no digital trickery, just pure love and unfiltered beauty. This film was a love letter to shot composition, lighting, and color.
I found myself awfully inspired
To see another film using these practical tools, and the dedication to crafting such a surreal, natural world for the viewer to witness. In a world filled with LED volumes and green screen composite slops.
It's a refreshing taste for one's own visual palette.
You always stop at the same part when it's very beautiful.
Let's take a look at how Tarsem Singh went about crafting such a powerful narrative.
I have an idea.
Looking through the BTS, it's abundantly clear that he has a distinct directing style. You can see him physically and emotionally living these scenes with the actors. The man crafted a false narrative with Lee Pace and convinced people he was actually wheelchair bound for 12 weeks. He did this to help convince his co-star, Catinca Untaru, to help her live within the story even more.
Every director I've worked with has said, how did he do it? Like, how did he do it? How did he make this film? I mean, they know how hard it is to make a film.
The way Tarsem works with both actors and lets the story naturally change with how young Catinca acts or says things, I think speaks volumes
To the quality of director and collaborator he is.
Get this stuff written up, make them comfortable here, and come back here. And then we'll call the cameras. Thank you, Catinca.
He spent decades planning and caring for this film and had such a specific vision for it, unable to make compromises for budget or ease of shooting. You see the joy in the BTS this man had while crafting his magnum opus, and his influence from the music videos he has shot shines through the visuals in this film.
My name is Roy. How'd you hurt your arm?
I fell.
So what happens? Well, we start in 1915 Los Angeles, where Roy Walker, played by the incredible Lee Pace, is stuck in a hospital bed, recovering from a stunt gone horribly wrong. Paralyzed and grappling with the trauma of his own failure, he meets Alexandria, played by Catinca Untaru,
A young girl who's broken her arm after falling from an orange tree. What starts as a simple interaction
quickly morphs into something deeper when Roy begins telling Alexandria an epic story. A story of vengeance, warriors, and swashbuckling pirates. But this just isn't any story. It's a fantastical tale meant to distract this little girl from her world.
and Roy from his own miserable life he feels stuck in.
Other side, my friend, before you say kaboom.
Roy spins a wild tale about 5 colorful characters: an Indian warrior who loves to stroke his eyebrows, an ex-slave, the legendary Charles Darwin with his pet monkey, an Italian bomb maker, and of course, the mass pirate hero. All of them share one common enemy, Governor Odious, and each of them has a personal reason to want him dead. In fact, they all die before they fail in their quest for vengeance. A story we view through the imagination of little Alexandria.
Close your eyes.
What do you see?
And here's where things start to get complicated. As soon as we bounce between the fantastical world of Roy's story and the gritty reality of 1950 LA, we start to see that Roy isn't just some charming storyteller. He's a man on the brink,
jumping onto a horse from a train bridge,
grappling with his own demons, a legless stuntman struggling with the thought of his career
in life coming to an end.
You can't stop there.
I just want to play a little game. I want you to go outside.
On top of that, the woman he loved has left him for the man he did the stunt for, a man who looks far too similar to himself.
He needs to get over her. I mean, he's not the first guy to lose a girl.
We see him argue with the movie company about a settlement. His world is crumbling, and unknown to others, he's secretly contemplating unaliving himself as the only way out. And as the story unfolds, the line between fantasy and reality becomes increasingly blurred. The characters in Roy's tale morph, shift, and change.
How do you want him to speak?
Becoming reflections of the world around them. Roy's pirate hero is no longer just a fictional character. He starts to resemble Roy himself, and even Alexandria's father, as the narrative bends to their emotional needs. The boundaries between the story Roy is telling and the reality of Alexandria's life begin to collapse. And we realize something crucial. This is not just Roy's story, it's Alexandria's story too.
She can't die.
She's still alive.
Alexandria is Roy's savior here. She's an almost angelic presence. She writes herself in the story twice to save the characters, much like her appearance within his real life. And though he isn't her father, she begins to see and love him as one. The story itself becomes rewritten over and over with our two main characters, and is a shared experience they cultivate together.
But how is a failed stuntman that can't walk going to go about unaliving himself?
Roy convinces Alexandria to steal morphine for him, hoping to end it all.
I need some pills. I need pills in a bottle that has this written on them.
But of course, things don't go quite according to plan. Alexandria misunderstands. With English not being her strong suit, she misinterprets it and only brings him 3 pills. Upset about this, he convinces her again to steal, this time from his fellow patient's cabinet.
Why? I got you the bottle.
There weren't enough in there for me to go to sleep.
But finds out in a fit of rage that they were placebos, sugar pills. In a misguided attempt to fix things, Alexandria climbs to the top of the shelf of the pharmacy to grab another bottle, only to fall and crack her head wide open. With an intense animated scene to showcase the trauma her body went through, she's rushed into surgery, and meanwhile, Roy's story is left unfinished, much like his own life.
That story was just a trick to get you to do something for me.
In one particular pivotal moment, Alexandria says, "Don't kill him." Roy, in a cold, detached manner, responds, "He has nothing left." And Alexandria replies, "His daughter." Roy insists he's not her father. But Alexandria isn't just talking about the pirate character in Roy's tale.
She's talking about Roy himself.
She has grown to love him and see him as a father figure, someone who is, in her mind, worth saving. Her plea for Roy not to kill off the story is also a plea to save him
From his own self-destructive path.
In this exchange, we see a shift, a realization that Alexandria has understood the connection between the death of the story and the death of Roy.
It's a heartbreaking and beautiful moment,
Showing us just how deeply she's connected to the man who's been telling her this story.
There's no happy ending with me.
The story, just like their relationship, is a complicated emotional dance, and Alexandria is always ready to rewrite it to save him. This is a moment as old as stories itself, even back to campfire stories.
the debate between the creator and the audience.
There is a tragic bond between these two people that is an ongoing and ceaseless struggle, that of the artist and the viewer, and each has a role and certain rights and assumptions about what they are owed. And by the end of the film, all of our heroes are dead. Odious is on the verge of victory, and the masked man is drowning, and it seems like all is lost. But Alexandria, in one last act of compassion and clarity, convinces Roy to save the pirate hero.
Let him live. Don't kill him.
She refuses to let more violence spill into their story and makes him realize that in saving the hero, he can save himself. Ultimately, Odious is defeated, not by the pirate hero, but his own sword. In a fittingly ironic twist, the masked man and his daughter stand victorious, and in this moment, we're reminded that in The Fall, it's not about love or romantic passion, it's about something much more profound: sacrifice, redemption, and the bond between two unlikely characters. The final moments of the movie bring us back to the hospital, where Roy and Alexandria watch the film that has been born out of Roy's pain. The shots of Roy's stunt, the injuries, the heartbreak are all reduced to fleeting moments on a screen. Roy realizes that his contribution, his suffering, it's just a flash in the eyes of the audience. They ended up cutting the scene that caused him so much grief and injury, and as we watch him struggle to watch the said scene and see him get through it,
You didn't even use that horse thing.
we realize that we too can get through it. And though he's in a wheelchair, the world continues,
unaware of the true depth of his sacrifice.
but there's hope. Alexandria's arm heals, and Roy too finds his footing again, returning to his stuntman life. In the end, we see some of the most iconic stunts from early cinema, the greats like Buster Keaton, referenced in a beautiful homage. And as the camera lingers on Alexandria's face, we realize that in her mind, she's imagining Roy as Keaton, a symbol of courage and resilience. And this is a film that resonates on multiple levels. One of the most interesting things I think I took away from it was the battle between the creator and the audience. Roy, the storyteller, represents the artist, Tarsem Singh, the director, struggling to make something meaningful
while also navigating the expectations and misunderstandings of his audience.
Alexandria is us, the viewers, constantly shifting the narrative in our minds and interpreting it and injecting our own meaning into it. The tension between the two is palpable, and by the end, come to this understanding, just like an artist and the creator of said art. And the emotional connectivity between Roy and Alexandria. The story is about two people trying to connect on a deeper level, bypassing the mask they wear in the real world.
But a man cannot show what's in his heart when he hides his face.
In the fantasy world of the story, everyone wears a mask, whether it's the pirate, the warrior, or even Roy himself. But Alexandria, with her childlike innocence, is the only one who isn't hiding behind a facade. She sees Roy for who he truly is, and through their shared journey, they're able to connect in a way that feels almost impossible to within the real world. It's a beautiful, tragic exploration of human vulnerability, connection, and the stories we tell ourselves to survive. It left me wondering, how do you drop your guard and communicate what you really feel? And how do I receive it without jeopardizing my own vulnerability? In the end, The Fall was more than just a story within a story. It's about the pain of creation, the struggle of finding meaning in a world that feels out of control, and the unexpected ways two broken souls can heal each other. It's a film that asks us to consider what we have seen on the screen and what we're willing to do to find the truth beneath its surface. This film is a powerful reminder that we don't need endless CGI to be transported to otherworldly places. Our world, the one we live in,
is already filled with wonders beyond our imaginations.
The Fall shows us that the beauty of the real world is staggering, full of exotic, jaw-dropping sights that Hollywood has long forgotten how to showcase. It's a tonic, a breath of fresh air, in a time when everything seems so digitally artificial. We are all connected, all entangled in this vast field. Each person we encounter is a part of our life, an actor, some might say. And we are all actors in someone else's story, and actors are participants in this grand thing that we call life.
We're a strange pair, aren't we?
This is a gift we can use to make the world a better place.
For we are not merely observers of this grand story that we are seeing play out. We are a part of it, we live it, and we have the power to write new stories, just like Tarsem did. Using his gifts, he created new images and a new fiction that radiates beauty and imagination.
Anytime when you're crying, you stay crying. If you're laughing, you stay laughing. If I come and tell you no, it's wrong, we start again. But anytime when you cry, it's okay. If you laugh, it's okay. But if I feel you don't need to laugh.
And that is one of the most powerful acts we can all do. We are participants in this world and in the lives of others, not just observers. I'd love to hear about a surreal film that this one reminds you of,
or what emotions and thoughts this film inspired within you.
I find film discussion to be one of the most engaging forms of conversations and would adore to hear your thoughts in the comments down below.
Thanks for watching, and make fun choices.
My dearest daughter, never marry for money, fame, power. or security. Your ever-loving father.
It says all that on that little locket.